What is up, everybody? It is Terrible, Terrible Tuesday, and I'm Matt, and I got another fantastic one for you. It's not a terrible movie. It is about a terrible group of people, and that is none other than the film from 1976 starring Steve Railsback, George DICenzo. Those two did a top-notch job. Nancy Wolfe, the always was beautiful Marilyn Burns, Christina Hart, Cathey, Paine, and Alan Oppenheimer, directed by Tom Gries. And that is Helter Skelter. Yes, what a fantastic freaking movie. This is one of those I forgot about it, and then I forgot I had a copy of it. Came across it, was looking at it, and thought, what the hell, let's watch it. And boy, was I glad. It was my first time viewing it. A little disappointed in myself for not getting to it much earlier, because it is really, really good, and it is done really, really well. Steve Railsback just crushes it as Manson. He has got the wily eyes, the mannerisms, the everything about it. He just crushed it, and it just was so creepy. And then the parts played by the roles of the Manson girls is just done so well in this. It has this release is nothing. I don't think there is a cool release of this one. I think this is about it. Is a basic DVD release. It's one of those. It's got the crappy recycled DVD case with it. Standard disc. Kind of bores me with that kind of stuff. Here is that if you guys want to pause and take a gander at that. There you go. So yeah, that's Helter Skelter. Great movie. Now, I shouldn't have to go too far into what it's about, because we all know about Charles Manson and the Manson family's horrible crimes. If you don't, I did put excuse me. I did put a link down below, or in the down below, or in the information of this, that for his biography, and it'll tell you every single thing you need to know about him and about what he did and who he was. And and just a quick search on the YouTube, you can see a lot of his just amazing interviews. That guy was gold. I mean, like, I could sit down and watch his stuff for hours and not get bored, because he's just so out there, and just grabs you by your mind, and just the guy was a hell of a Svengali, I mean, the next thing that made me think of how the next group or person that made me think of him that was just as powerful was George Jones, not No Show Jones, the country star, Jim Jones of Jonestown. That guy, like, those two guys had their power of being able to manipulate is one of the craziest, scariest, thought-provoking things you can do with basically, how do I say, basically controlling. I'll just say controlling people and keep it easy like that. So this one, it follows all the way from the creepy crawls at the beginning. It starts off right away with the Tate murders, where you got all those people, J.C. Bring, Wojciech, Sharon Tate. I'm drawing a blank on the other ones, but the other three that were there, the Folger's girl was there, Karen Folger. But the murders of those 5 people, that it starts right off with that, and then with the poor housemaid that is coming in to clean up the house, and she stumbles in on this, and it's scary. It's not a good thing, I mean, to think that there was a real group of people that did this, and then you go to the next day, the next evening, excuse me, and we have the LaBianca murders of Nino and Rosemary LaBianca. And so you go on with that. Then there's the whole raid of Spawn Ranch, which is very cool because Spawn Ranch was an old Western movie, TV Western town that they would go in and shoot TVs and movies for that were cowboys and, bang, bang, all that fun stuff. Bank robbers and Native Americans shooting bow and arrows and stuff at each other. That crazy stuff. Um, Shoot, where was I going also on this? So it goes through that at Spawn Ranch, and you go through the whole thing of with there was shoot. I am having a bad day today with drawing, grasping words and pulling them out of my noggin. Usually I'm pretty good at this, but a ranch hand, yes, a poor ranch hand, about how he was basically may or may have been chopped up into many pieces and left other places all over the ranch, which is just scary to think that they would even do that. There's even a point where they talk about how Manson and I think it was Clem or Tex, I can't remember which one, they robbed and killed a pimp with this specific gun. I forget what it was, and it was a very long-handled six-shooter. It was a one-of-a-kind type deal, like a bunt nose or something like that. And and so they used that same weapon from that in the Tate-LaBianca murders, and they beat one of them, I can't remember which one exactly, in the head so hard with the butt of the revolver that the butt broke. And to do that, you have to be really smashing on somebody. I imagine that I've never really, I never really gone through and re-looked at all the stuff now that I've gotten older as far as the crime scene photos. The only one that always comes to my mind is Sharon Tate, because it was just so graphic and so just, it grabs you by the heart and makes you want to cry because it's like I was a mother, there was a poor baby in there. So you got to go through all the murders, and then you get in through the trial, the beginning of the trial, where they're trying to get whoever to come forward and be a star witness with this, which is, you'd think, yes, I'd get somebody as easily as it is. No, it was not that easy. As a matter of fact, one of the only reasons a lot of people really knew was because the Manson girls would chat. They would talk to other women about how beautiful and lovely Charlie was and what they had done, and to help start the Helter Skelter, the war of all wars, bigger than World War I, II, and III combined, even though it would be number 3. Helter Skelter would be number 3. So it would be the war of wars. They thought that they would bring this about because they thought it would start a racial war between the African Americans and the Caucasians, which it didn't. And then there's a whole thing where Manson is talking to Bugliosi, and he says, "I almost got him, didn't I? I almost started it. Almost got Helter Skelter to go." But, it just really creepy the way he says it. And then they put the X's in their foreheads. Although I did get a chuckle on the very, very last scene. Charlie's X was moved over to about right. It was a little off center. It was not in the middle of in between his eyes like it was supposed to be. I think we just had somebody that didn't either was just filling in and didn't really know what they were doing, or B, somebody just wasn't paying attention on the continuity and was rushing too fast. Excuse me, guys. Whew. Have another cigarette, Matt. And this is, by the way, based off of the book by Vincent Bugliosi, and which everybody I have not read. I will read someday, but because I've seen so much and read so much on Manson and the Manson murders that it really just intrigues me, and I really would like to see another film. There's a couple of them out there. There's the next best one is the Jim Van Beber Manson Family film. That one was really good. It's very trippy, very graphic compared to this one. Like I said, this one was made for television. Now, as far as anything else goes, it goes into the court trial, and that's it after the end of the court trial. They don't add anything to him in prison or anything else after that. It was just basically the beginning to that era, point in Manson's life. And it leaves you with a very sour taste in your mouth. With the way he is and the fact that he, in a way, got away with murder because he got what he wanted. He said, he told everybody he was a product of the system, and he lived in jails most of his life, which he ended up doing. Like 90% of his life, he lived in a prison. And for a man to want that is just mind-boggling anyways. But that's what he wanted, the guy, and we gave it to him. We should have... I'm not really 100% death penalty guy, because some people... I think it's only deserving for certain people. Like the baddest of the bad, the like worst of the worst type people. Him, I think, should have been one of them, because he was a horrible, horrible person. Now, they all were been up, like, it's funny, they do end it on them talking about how they were all going to be up for parole in 78, and this was made in 76, which, it's just going upon that, they went through that parole process over and over. Charlie never got paroled. As far as I know, I think all the girls did. I can't remember. It's been a hot minute. I know that the family carried on afterwards for a while. Is there anybody that's still a part of the family? Who knows? They were making babies left and right. There could still be some families out there at one of them old ranches. Not Spawn Ranch anymore. It got destroyed. As far as rating goes, both technical and entertainment, I'm going to give it a 4. This is a phenomenal piece of film. Do check this out, guys, if you have not. Do set some time aside, because this is a 3-hour and 15-minute film. This is very long. So it was originally meant to be watched in 2 nights. So with that being said, I watched it in 2 nights. I didn't watch it all straight in one sitting because it is so long. Glad I did it that way, because it helped me process beginning, middle, and end a little easier than I would if I would have just sat all the way through and had my mind just numbed by everything that's been going on. Okay, this has been a long episode, guys. It's up over 14 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and roll out. I love your faces as always, and we'll see you tomorrow. I have another long movie in store for you tomorrow, but it's really awesome as well. Not a horror film, but it is a exploitation film. All right, y'all.